morning, viewers. I am Dr. Jojubo, Chairman, Jojubo Whistleblowers Network. As you know, Jojubo TV is powered by Jojubo Whistleblowers Network. Today is Monday, February 22nd, 2021. We have a matter that is provocative, compelling, and riveting enough to make our TV show. This is a matter that has been lingering since 2018 when we came into the picture. The Chief Registrar, Trade and Designs, Federal Ministry of Trade, Industry and Investment, then blew the whistle on a lot of shenanigans going on, ranging from diversion of funds, not remitting funds to TSA, and a whole lot. And ever since he blew the whistle, he has been made a pariah. He has been declared an outcast. We have documents to show that the head of service deployed him back to the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Investment. But because of the altruistic whistleblowing work he has done for this country, they are scared to take him back. He was deployed to the Ministry of Justice, SIM. So this man has suffered a lot. And it is quite appalling that Nigeria, a country that has rolled out the whistleblowers policy, that has promulgated and is still promulgating the whistleblower policy, has people like Barrister William Amuga that are constantly victimized. It's a special appeal to the president, who rolled out this policy on or about December 15, 2016, to listen to his case. We have here with us the man himself, the courageous man, Barrister William Amuga. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, Nigerians. Good morning, the whole world.
Yes, you came to us in January 2018.
Yes.
With a most compelling case of whistleblowing within your organization, which is usually the most risky and in my opinion, when you blow the whistle, which I do, outside, as an outsider, is different. But when you blow the whistle within your organization, it takes a lot of courage. Thank you very much for that. Now, please tell our viewers, synopsis actually, regarding, we are not going to go into the meat of the allegation.
Okay.
Now, all we need to go into is what they have put you through, because the letters are very clear. How you were deployed back to the ministry within which you blew the whistle, that is Trade, Industry and Investment, how they refused to take you back, and what the current posture is now. Thank you.
Yeah, maybe mention a sentence or two on the run-up to the deployment first.
Go ahead.
Yes, so like you earlier said, we do registration on trademark, patents and designs, and in my capacity as a supervisor in the department,
Right.
I supervise even collection of revenue, and that is also legally provided by the laws establishing the activity. So when I noticed that a consultant was being used to divert the revenues we collect into a private account, I raised the issue in writing first and foremost, and that brought me in confrontation with the management of the ministry, I was directed to retract that letter.
Could you give us, as you talk, on about the date, year, so we know?
Yeah. So this thing started November of 2015. Of course, the whistleblower policy of the federal government, headed by the then newly inaugurated government of President Muhammad Buhari, was conveyed to us as civil servants through circulars, 2 circulars in quick succession from the office of the head of service, with stern warning that the TSA policy should be complied with religiously. So it was acting on that when I realized this thing was happening, I took action by writing to the consultant to stop what they were doing. So,
which was not remitting to the TSA.
Yes,
TSA, viewers worldwide, is acronym for Treasury Single Account. When the president came on board in 2015, the first channel, he mandated all ministries, departments, and agencies to collapse all the funds into a Treasury Single Account. That is the TSA is the acronym.
Exactly.
Thank you. Yeah.
The real implication of this is that all accounts before the TSA policy, MDAs, that is ministries, departments, and agencies, had authority to open account in money deposit banks, that's the commercial banks. So the TSA policy directed that all accounts in the name of MDAs should be closed, and all the commercial banks have now been mandated as gateways to remit funds to the CBN, that's the Central Bank of Nigeria, which is the yes, which houses the TSA account.
Yeah.
So, like I said earlier, when I took action to stop the consultants, which I did in writing, the next thing they did was to report me to the permanent secretary that I am stopping them from doing their work. So the permanent secretary now prevailed on me to withdraw the letter so that they could be channeling the money through the private account. So that was the beginning of my problem, my travails in the Ministry of Trade. So one thing led to the other, and that is throughout 2016, that was what was happening. By early 2017, I began to see signs that the management, headed by both the permanent secretary and the minister of Trade and Investment, they were making moves to relieve me of my post through what they call posting. So they didn't succeed into that until around end of 2017, when suddenly I was given a letter of posting to move from my post to the office of the head of service. So as a civil servant, I complied with that posting, but I went to the office of the head of service and met an empty space, no office, no schedule of duty, nothing. So I wrote to the head of service an appeal narrating the fact that the cadre in which I was recruited is domiciled in the Ministry of Trade, and it is a non-pooled cadre, and therefore I cannot be posted anywhere. So the head of service studied my appeal, agreed with me, and by April of 2017, gave me a letter again to go back to my office.
Let me understand this.
Yes.
What do you mean by proof for our viewers worldwide? What you are saying is that, in a sense, you coming or being recruited into the Ministry of Trade, you had a specific recruitment, what to do.
Exactly.
So you cannot really go to another pool, another job description or whatever, unless you acquiesce to it.
Exactly.
That is the civil service rule. Okay, let's continue. Yeah.
In fact, even acquiescing may not be possible. to acquiesce to anywhere, because the civil service, let me put it this way, the civil service in Nigeria is configured into career paths that are called cadres.
Yes.
So once you are recruited into a cadre, that is your own professional line, and that is where
your fate.
Exactly, that's where you end your career in the service.
Okay.
Except along the line, by your own volition, maybe because you have an additional qualification or for any other reason known to you.
That is extraordinary.
Yes. Yeah. So you will apply to the Civil Service Commission, which is the constitutional or legal body empowered to recruit officers into the civil service. So you apply, and then the Civil Service Commission will have to inquire from where you want to go, whether there is a vacancy for you before it can even okay you to move. Otherwise, you cannot move across the cadre through posting. It's not possible. And in fact, the public service rules specifically prohibit posting from one cadre to the other. So, having seen all these arguments, the head of service now, based on this argument, the head of service agreed with me that and gave me my letter to go back.
To go back to your old Ministry of Trade. Yeah.
Yes. So when I went back,
when are we talking now? Which year?
That was April 2018, as I earlier said.
April 2018.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
The letter was dated specifically April 13th of 2018.
Okay, that is it.
Yes. Yes.
This one here.
With effect from, in fact, it was even backdated with effect from 6th of April.
Yes. This year. The letter is here.
So, when I went, I submitted my letter, and as you can see, it's duly endorsed in the office of the permanent secretary. I made follow-up several times, because the permanent secretary has to endorse and direct that I go back to my office. This is an activity the permanent secretary refused and declined to do. And up to this point, they have refused to acknowledge or act upon this.
So there's a possibility that what you detected as the chief registrar could still be going on as we speak.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
So not only are you precluded from going back to your posting, as the posting says, what you complained about, to the best of your knowledge, has not even been remedied.
Exactly.
Could still be ongoing.
It's still going on.
Okay.
It's still going on because why? Because I'm still an insider. I'm still a civil servant. I have nowhere to go. So the consultant that with whom I took action on whom I took action in the first place, are still resident in the department.
The purported culprits,
exactly,
that are culpable in this act are still there.
They are still doing their work.
Okay.
Busy diverting government money. In fact, sir, my rough calculation of the money so far, because as a supervisor in the department, before I was removed from that office, I was being given monthly collections, summary of monthly collections of revenue in writing and through online, electronic means, through my email.
Right.
So I have an idea of what is going on in terms of the amount of money that is going into that account. Besides, by January of 2016, I teamed up with the then late labor leader in the ministry, and we impressed on the permanent secretary that this is what is going on and it is wrong. And the then permanent secretary, being a staff of the accountant general's office, reached out to the accountant general's office, and the staff of the inspectorate department of the accountant general's office came to make a sort of verification of the remittances of the money of otherwise of the money into the treasury of the federal government. So, and they studied a period of between 2012 to 2015, and they discovered that this same account we are complaining of, that the money is being diverted into, about 1.6 billion naira pass into the account, and which is still the activity that is still going on as I speak. So for me, using that as a baseline, the amount so far that would have been collected would run into billions of like 4 billion or thereabouts, or even more, because some of the things I complained against the consultant was that they were even charging illegal fees. Exactly, they were charging illegal fees. I wrote memos to the permanent secretary to that effect, and nothing was done.
Okay. Now, as you speak, you couldn't go back to the Ministry of Trade.
Very well, sir.
Another posting came out for you to go to Ministry of Justice. But the dilemma there, the quandary there is that you can't really go to justice because it's not your pool. It's not your, like you said earlier.
Yes.
When you entered when you came on as a civil servant, your pool is that cadre of the Ministry of Trade.
Exactly.
So you are really placed between a rock and a hard place. Now, let's even assume for sake of argument that you can even go to the Ministry of Justice to work. You still have not been absorbed there. You are still not working there. Reason being that the PAMSEC, the permanent secretary at the Ministry of Trade, failed to endorse for you to go to Ministry of Justice, if I may recall.
Yes, sir.
So, in other words, the Ministry of Trade does not want you to work there. They don't want to endorse for you to go and work someplace else.
Exactly. That's what is happening.
So that is what is happening now.
I said earlier, the civil service is configured into cadres, and my cadre is domiciled in the Ministry of Trade. The functions of the cadre does not spill over to other MDAs.
So in other words, I see the point is this. It's very simple to comprehend. You already complained of this.
Yes.
Because office is continuum, whether it's this person or not.
Yes.
You already complained of this to the head of service. That was why they even
asked me to go back.
When you were first sent from Ministry of Trade to head of service,
exactly,
you complained of this anomaly to the head of service. They saw reason in it that your complaint, was meritorious, and you were sent back to Ministry of Trade,
where I belong.
Now, the Ministry of Trade was able to impress upon the same head of service that you complained to the impropriety of leaving the Ministry of Trade, and they now deployed you again to Ministry of Justice.
Yes. When
the reason you gave why you couldn't leave Ministry of Trade is still there. Correct?
Exactly.
Yes. No, and I comprehend very well. And that is why I use the word pariah, outcast.
Yes.
Because for that to happen, what I see now is nobody wants to touch your matter.
Exactly.
You are like a chicken without a head running around. You are being rigmarolled, and that makes the case more compelling for us.
Okay.
And starting from today, we are going to write all the parties involved. In this case, the Ministry of Trade. We're going to give them a stern warning, an ultimatum, copying the head of service, and copying justice.
Yes, sir.
And we threaten a legal action.
Okay, sir.
And we'll make sure that the civil society in Nigeria will use that space to promulgate your case.
Okay, sir.
You have my word on that. And for people listening globally, this is what we suffer in Nigeria, whistleblowers. And to the best of his knowledge, the shenanigans he complained about in the first place, nothing happened to the contractor, correct?
Nothing. Is still
the person is still working there.
Still working.
You that complain, you don't have a job.
Thrown out.
Thank you very much. Thank you.